Good. With this teleportation system complete, our soldiers will move around in an instant. Come on, give it a go, everybody. Are you sure this is safe? Of course it is. I made it. Oh no. What is this? Oh, this is not the right place. Oh, it's happening again. Seriously? Where is he sending us? Oh, not again. It appears it needs some more work. You're telling me? This is the Portal of Power from the Skylanders video game. There are so many different types of these portals, and they're really cheap nowadays, going for like $5, $10 at your game store, secondhand. I just start taking it apart and trying to figure out what's inside because the USB does not power whatever light it was meant to use in there originally, so I'm going to replace it with my own string of fairy lights. I have two portals, this big one and one small one. This big one is a bit of a pain because it's in many different pieces, but it also comes apart pretty easily. The other one doesn't have any screw holes at all in it. If you're going to pick one of these up, try and find something that looks easy to take apart. That might have those little covers on the bottom that could be hiding screws or something underneath. What's so great about this portal is it's all basically done for you already. This piece of plastic is semi-translucent, so you can fit some lights behind there real easy. I think this mechanism originally had some sort of light in it somewhere. I can't really tell what it is on the circuit board. It doesn't look like a light anywhere, but it all comes apart in one piece, which is handy if you ever want to play the Skylanders game, because you can still use this as the portal. So with it all apart, I quickly just gave it a spray paint of blue. I'm going to use that as my base color. Why not? To really bring out the cool texture of this portal, I'm going to give it a dry brush of a light grey. And then cover it in a dark wash to get all of those little cracks and crevices. This really simple paint job comes out looking really nice because the model is so good to begin with. This portal seems to be following some sort of ocean or water vibes, so I'm going to give the plastic cover piece a cover in a blue wash. I am going to dab away some of the excess though, because I don't want it being on too thick and blocking the light. But I end up realizing, not really a problem. Light's going to get through this with how many lights I've put in here. Another cool part about this version of the Portal of Power is it has these runes along the side. I don't know what they mean, they must mean something in the game surely, but I'm going to go through, paint these white, and then give them a coat of a blue wash as well to make it look like they're glowing blue magic. Now this part is not fun at all. Piecing it back together is a real pain because there are so many pieces and it only goes together one way, one very specific way. It ends up being a pain to find all of the little tabs that go in the correct places, but trial and error ends up getting you there. Once I have it all assembled into one piece, I'm going to take a bunch of aluminium foil and shiny side facing out, I'm going to glue it into the sides of the portal. This is just going to make sure that the lights we put on are as bright as they can be. With all of the aluminium foil covering the sides, I then start running these lights all around the inside. I'm trying to make sure that none of them are touching the white portal at the top, because if they're touching it, they'll look like a really concentrated beam of light, and I want it to look more like a passive glow. But if you're looking for little dots of light, you could make them touch the top or even glue them to the piece of plastic at the top, and that'll make it look like there are lots of little specks of light floating around. Originally, I was hoping I didn't have to remove this piece, but in order to fit the battery pack in, I'm going to have to get rid of the platform that originally held up the electronics. So I'm just going to snip those away with some side cutters. I make sure to leave some slack in the cord, that way it can come out, and then when I'm happy with the orientation of the power pack, I'm just going to trace it onto the base and then cut out that little section so I can access the battery and the switch. And then using that same piece of plastic that I just cut out, I'm going to heat it up and bend it around the power pack. This will create a little cradle that I can glue the power pack into. That way it isn't flopping around and I can easily access it. Unfortunately, I can't quite reach the switch. So I got this little piece of toothpick with a little notch. That way I can reach the switch and switch it on and off. And I just stick that toothpick to the bottom of the base with some glue tack so I can access it easily. I uncover the bottom with some more aluminium foil just because I had it out. I don't really think it's doing a lot. And after spending 10 minutes fiddling around trying to make sure I had it all in the correct orientation and nothing was being blocked by something else, oh, there's something being blocked, I eventually get it all stuck together. And here we have the portal of power. You can see those dark marks along the top. That's where some of the wash ran along the bottom. And despite it being a mistake, I think it looks pretty cool. Like some tendrils or magic is like sneaking around underneath there. And I wish I'd done it a bit more on purpose. And here I have the little popsicle stick stuck on with some glue tack to the bottom. It's easy to do if one of my hands isn't holding a camera. But here it just switches on and off once I get it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week with something different.